In 2017, Dr. Elizabeth Spruin began researching ways the UK could better support victims and witnesses of crime within the criminal justice system. It was quickly found that for over 20 years, justice facility dogs have been used in the US and Canada to support vulnerable people and children in the process of giving evidence as victims of crime. Despite the success of justice facility dogs across North America, these types of assistance dogs do not exist in the UK or Europe. This led to Dr. Elizabeth Spruin and her team to set about building the evidence needed through research to establish the use of these dogs across the UK and Europe.
So I'm Dr. Elizabeth Spruin. I am a senior lecturer in psychology here at Canterbury Christ Church University, and I'm also the director of Justice Support Dogs International. I'm also the handler of Oliver. So he's been specially trained and bred to provide quiet companionship and non-judgmental support to vulnerable victims and witnesses in the criminal justice system. The victims and witnesses have a lot of stress and fear and anxiety about going through the criminal justice process because it's so intimidating. And in particular for vulnerable victims and witnesses, so children, adults with any sort of learning difficulties or mental disorders, those individuals in particular have a real struggle trying to engage with the criminal justice system. And I came across some research looking at, what other countries were doing, what was trending in other places, other criminal justice systems. And then I came across the use of facility dogs, who had been, at the time, being used in America and Canada. Although there was no evidence specifically for these dogs, there's so much research looking at the human-canine relationship and just the natural, impact that these dogs and dogs in general have on human beings. So the work came about trying to figure out how we could build that evidence to grow the use of these dogs. So I started looking into how I could acquire, a facility dog, and I soon found out that in the UK we don't have these types of assistance dogs. Oliver is an ADI accredited facility dog, and I acquired him through Duo Dogs, a non-for-profit organization in America, in St. Louis, who train facility dogs and other types of assistance dogs. I was in contact with them and I just explained how I wanted to have a placement in the UK. The placement that I was proposing is very different from your typical facility dog. I wanted to use Oliver for research to help build the evidence base. He was going to be, and he is, the very first of his kind. From the moment he was born, he was literally born and bred to do this job. Oliver is a very docile, very slow dog, very affectionate, and it was clear that that was the type of role he would be as a facility dog. So when he came back to Duo, he did 6 months of very intense advanced training specifically for his role. Oliver's role is a bit different from your average facility dog because, he's the only one of his kind in the UK. Your typical facility dog, usually they're placed in one facility. Oliver, however, because we use him sort of a demonstration, he works in a variety of different places throughout the criminal justice system. The most of his work to date has been with the Kent Police, working with them in their AB interviews, their achieving best evidence, so their police interviews when they're gathering evidence. And he started doing that, and the success that he had there led to other police forces wanting to use him as well.
So I've seen firsthand the way that Oliver can support children and young people in interviews. Giving an interview to the police about what's happened to you or what you've seen as a young person can be really scary. Having Oliver there has been so supportive, and I've seen firsthand how Oliver can support somebody when they're giving what could be quite a traumatic story to the police. One particular interview that I really remember was an interview with a young girl who was supported by Oliver. At one point, the girl had to get off the sofa and move onto the table where she needed to draw a picture to show the police officer what had happened to her. Oliver very quickly responded, got down from the sofa, sat behind her and just placed his paw really gently on her back. And it was so clear to see that the message Oliver was trying to say to her was, "I'm still here." And that was really lovely to see. He's so intuitive.
Oliver is the first dog of his kind in the UK and Europe, supporting victims of crime within the criminal justice system. But there are around 300 dogs working in North America, providing comfort and support to vulnerable victims.
So my name is Katarina Mozova. I am a senior lecturer in policing here at Canterbury Christchurch University, and I am Oliver's second handler. One of the survivors that always kind of keeps cropping back up in my mind is a survivor of a sexual offense who just would not leave her house. She didn't leave her house for 2 years after the offense happened. She only left for Oliver because she saw his picture and she knew that there would be someone, or Oliver, supporting her.
My name is Sanjida Islam. I am a psychology PhD student at Canterbury Christchurch University, and I work closely with Oliver while he provides emotional support to university students and people in criminal justice settings. My PhD is looking at supporting vulnerable victims within the criminal justice system, so Oliver is a really big part of that data collection. Oliver has basically created my PhD. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have a PhD and I wouldn't have a research interest, because for me the whole point is, animals are just so great, they're so therapeutic, and why aren't we using them everywhere really?
The data collected from the work Oliver has done has helped pilot a European facility dog programme.
For Oliver to be recognised with the PDSA Order of Merit award, it means a lot. We want more Olivers. We want more dogs like him to support vulnerable people.
I'm so proud that Oliver has been awarded with the PDSA Order of Merit. This is really important because it actually means that we are able to support victims and witnesses, putting them at the heart of our processes all the time and making sure that dogs like Oliver might be available to other police forces in the future as well.